All right, welcome back, everybody, to another training for the money mantra. Today, we are going to be focusing on HFX. HFX is known as high frequency trading. And I would say that this is like, well, not this is like, it actually is an advanced level of Forex trading. Now, it's nice to be able to be in and out of the market and to make your money really quickly, but just as quickly as you can make that money, you can also lose that money. So I think it's really important just to understand the fundamentals of Forex before we jump into HFX. But since we have been reviewing it for a couple of weeks, or you guys can watch any of the other videos on my channel, you know that you do need to have some money to trade HFX, right? Because you can start, of course, I think the minimum deposit you can do is $50. And you can start with $50 and you can build that up to $300 and you can build that up to thousands of dollars. I've done it. I know people who have done it, but it's a lot less stressful when you just have more capital to trade. It's the equivalent of saying, I'm going to wait until my Forex trades catches hundreds of pips with a small lot size, or I'm going to use a higher lot size with less pips and get the same results. So I just want to throw that disclaimer out there. HFX is definitely fast paced. It is fun and you can be profitable, but just like Forex, I think, well, more so than Forex, I think it requires a extra level of patience. And because the trades are so short, you definitely need to make sure you're disciplined and you are actually asking yourselves the questions before you get into the trades. So the website that I'm going to be using for today's class is called pocketoption.com. This may be a website that you guys are familiar with, but if not, you can easily start a demo account. Just go to pocketoption.com, click register, and you don't have to deposit any money before you actually start trading. Now, pocketoption.com is really like a two-in-one, because not only can you analyze your trades on this like TradingView, but you can also take your trades directly on this website as well, which is why I love it. Everything's like literally in one. So before we get started, because it's going to be a quick HFX lesson, more so like review. Before we get started, I'm just going to, of course, do an overview of the platform for anybody who may be new or have never used this platform before. So pocketoption.com, this is what it looks like. Now, when you first start Pocket Option, your screen may be dark. You may not have the light version, but I just prefer it to look like this. So you can just click over here. You'll see this little person where your account image is supposed to be if you want to have one there. So you can click here and then you can click on settings, because I always like teaching you all how to customize your chart first. And then you just click on theme and you can either choose the blue theme, which is the classic theme that we all start with on Pocket Option, or you can choose the light theme, which would make it look more like my screen. Okay. So that's how you would change your screen to make it look like this. Now, also, you're going to see over here, there's a bunch of different features that you can use on Pocket Option, but the only one I really like to have open for the most part is my trades. And I'm just going to demonstrate why having this open is important to me. So Pocket Option is a platform used to trade options, right? And you probably have heard of options trading before, but more specifically, this is binary options because there are only two options. You could either buy or sell. So I'm not going to do any analysis right now, but let's just say I got into this trade for $100. I just click this button and I click buy. I'm now into the trade and I'm only demonstrating that at this time, I can see all of my trade details. Now, one thing I like about high frequency trading is the fact that you could be into your trades for as little as 1 minute. So over here is your trade details. It'll tell you which currency pair that you entered the trade in. It will tell you what your current payout is for that pair, which is how much profit you would make if this trade went in your favor. It tells you how much time you have left in that trade. It tells you what your risk was, what your profit will be, and then it has a numerical value of that profit as well. So in this case, and if I click on it, you'll see even more details about the trade, such as where did you actually get in? What was your opening price? What is the current price? And what is the difference between your opening and the closing price? So this trade is just going to go, whatever. So again, now let's just say, and again, this is just to show you why the trade screen is important. And it looks simple, but it can tell you so much information. So again, let's just say we get into this trade for a sell, because on pocket option, you could either buy or sell. Again, it's going to tell me I got into this trade at AUD CUD. It tells me the current payout percentage for this pair is 92%. It tells me I have 45 seconds left in the trade. It tells me I'm in for a sell, and currently this trade is not in profit. Now, when it's not in profit, you'll see 0. When it is in profit, you'll see green. So rollover, I'm going to click it before the time runs out. Rollover lets you get more time into the trade. So as you can see, we had 25 seconds left. Time was running out. I clicked rollover. So not only did rollover double the risk that I'm into the trade, but it also doubled my time. Now, it's okay to use rollover because sometimes the trade won't play out, especially if you're using a time frame as short as a minute. Sometimes the trade won't play out in that minute. Maybe you just need an extra 30 seconds. Maybe you just need another minute. That is when you want to use rollover. But just be mindful that it is going to double your initial risk as well as double your initial time. Now, double up is another feature that stays here until the trade has about 15 seconds left. So if I click on double up, what you're going to see is that it actually duplicated my trade. So it's the same risk, right, as the rollover trade, plus the same amount of time that I have left. So in this case, we can see, hold on. So in this case, we can see that the trade currently, one of these trades, well, now they're both in profit. So pretty much you can see right here how much you would win or lose if the trade went in your favor or did not go in your favor. So if this trade clears right now, we will be making $384 in profit in about 1 minute. It doesn't look like this one is going to clear, but we can see here, oh, we made about, I don't know, $700 something in 2 minutes, right? So we didn't do any analysis yet, and this isn't for you guys to be like, oh, I could just make money by coming in here clicking buttons. Right now, I'm just simply demonstrating the features, but you can see how profitable you can be once you get this down and get this right. As you guys can see, we entered this trade twice for $200. We got $384 profit. Well, $184 profit from both trades, about this much altogether. So if that makes sense about how to use the trade screen and all the details that you can find out once you're already in the trade, just drop some 7s in the chat, right? Because I know looking at this can be overwhelming, but everything serves a purpose, but you don't need to use everything on the screen. All right, perfect. Now, if you don't want to view your trade screen, you can just simply click it and it'll go away and you won't see it. But me, I like to see all the details. Now, to the left of that, we have the time. And again, you can choose how long you want to be in this trade, right? You can be in this trade for 1 minute. You can be in this trade for 5 seconds, right? And again, you don't want to be in the trade for 5 seconds, but I'll demonstrate that you can. So I'm going to click 5 seconds. Let's just say I got into this trade for a sell. I'm literally only in this trade for 5 seconds. And if this trade goes in my favor, I just made $192, right, in 5 seconds, right? That's amazing. But we don't want to put that type of stress on ourselves, because literally, if you were to use 5-second trades, if you do 12 trades, that's 1 minute, you could be up $1,200 in a very short amount of time. So you can see the appeal of HFX, but now it's just about learning the skill. So I like to trade on M1. It's just where I'm comfortable, but you don't have to do that. You can trade on a 3-minute trade. You can trade in a 5-minute trade. And you can even stay in your trade for up to 4 hours. But again, what's the point of that, right? But you do have all these options here. So for the purpose of this training, I'll use M1 just because that's where I'm comfortable. But you can use whichever time frame you feel comfortable in. Now, the next thing is the amount. This is how much money you're going to risk. And this is important because whatever you choose to risk, that is what actually gets deducted from your account when you enter into the trade. And the profit is how much you're making of that. So in this case, if my payout for this pair is 92% and I'm risking $100, that means I'm risking $100 to make $92, which really isn't bad at all, right? Now I can change this but the payout is still 92%. If I'm risking $75, my profit will be $69 because 69 is 92% of 75. So I'm going to put $100 back here because it's easy to calculate. Now you guys can see my current balance is $46,358. Whenever you get into the trade, this amount, whatever you risk, is going to be deducted from your balance. So my balance is going to go from 46,358 to 46,258. Now, if this trade goes in my favor, not only am I going to, that's why this profit right here says $192. Because if this trade goes in my favor, not only am I going to make 92% profit, but I'm also going to get my initial risk back, right? So when you guys are talking about this with other people and you're like, oh, I made 190 in 1 minute. You didn't really make 192 in 1 minute. You made $92 in 1 minute, and you also got back your initial investment. And that's just going to be important when you are working on your trading plan, or you're just really trying to calculate your profits. Don't go by this, right? You only want to go by the actual profit that you made. Now, when it comes to wins and losses, if I was to lose this trade, right, and it looks like it's going to clear, if I was to lose this trade, my balance would stay at 46,258. I've lost my initial investment. But we can see that this trade went in my favor. Again, I got my investment back plus my profit. So my balance is no longer 46,358, it's 46,450, right? Because I got my investment plus my profit. If that makes sense, guys, drop some sevens in the chat. Okay, perfect. So again, so far, if we were to just go by this profit, we can see that we've made 100, 200, like almost like $800 in just such a short amount of time. And again, this is the appeal of HFX. And like Mark Douglas said, y'all know I love me some Mark Douglas. It doesn't really take much to be profitable, but it helps a whole lot when we can actually know what we're doing. I'm simply clicking buttons and giving you guys examples. But when you're pinpointing this, your trade can go from being $100, right? So you can risk $1,000. Like, we're not sure this trade is going to clear, but we can just see the same thing. If I'm risking $1,000, right, with a 92% payout, my profit within 1 minute could potentially be $1,920, right? Now, if you can use an extra $1,900 in 1 minute, just drop some sevens in the chat, right? Because that is why it's important to be able to learn and skill, right? So that you can make however much you want to make, right? That's somebody's rent. That's somebody's car payment. That's a random vacation. That's your kid's savings account, right? Like, that's a first class flight for a solo trip. That's a really nice birthday gift for someone. So we're going to see if this trade clears. Again, we have 15 seconds left. With HFX is real. And they be playing, right? So we got 5 seconds left. This trade is still in profit, but it can always go any way at either second. And cool. We can see we've taken our balance from 46,358 all the way up to 47,370. And it's been what, 5 minutes? So that's the appeal of HFX, y'all, right? They telling me to make a deposit. First of all, mind your business. But yeah, so pretty much we have two options when it's trading HFX. We have our buy option, which is the green button, and we have our sell option, right? It always say that, right? You need to deposit some money. You need to write me a check. How about that? But nah, this is seriously just my the demo account that I trade on, so I'm never gonna make a deposit on here. But I have money on my personal account. So pretty much, yeah, y'all, that is a introduction to the features of pocket option, but we're going to get into, okay, how do we know when to click the button, because that's what we're all here for. So just like trading Forex, you first want to start by checking the news, right? You want to see what's really going on with these pairs. The news site that I like to use is called forexfactory.com because it's straightforward and it's to the point. I know that Red folders mean that it's high impact news. My entry point to my exit points are going to be a little bit all over the place because the news is so impactful that everybody's trading. They're buying, they're selling, and it's just moving really fast. That's going to be demonstrated by if we see a red folder. Oh, sorry, y'all. But if we see a red folder next to the pair we want to trade. Right now it's Sunday, and we don't actually see any news, which is great. Now, orange folder is going to be medium impact news. A yellow folder is going to be regular news, basic, and a gray folder is going to denote a bank holiday. So you can trade those pairs, but it may be moving just a little bit slow, only because the banks are not actually open. So I come to forexfactory.com. I don't see any news that's alarming. So now I'm going to go ahead and select my currency pair. You guys know I like to start with Euro USD, but you can literally start with any currency pair that you feel comfortable with. Now, like in my first example, if you want to see the price up here, because let's just say, for example, I get into a, let me see if we got a star by it. So let's just say I get into a buy for you. I mean, whatever. I just click whatever. Let's just say I get into a sell for Euro USD. It's not in profit, but I don't see the money up here. Personally, when I like to trade, I like to see everything. So if you want to see the money as it's going up and down and you want to give yourself anxiety, you want to click the star next to the pair that you're going to be looking at, and then that'll bring it up to your favorites. This top bar up here is considered your favorites. Now, if I add AUD CAD, that'll add it to my favorites. If I click the star next to AUD NZD, that'll also add it to my favorites. So if you have multiple trades open, let's just say I go to AUD CAD and I get in for a buy, but then I come over and I'm on my AUD NZD screen. I can see all my active trades. I can see what's happening with my Euro USD trade, and I can also see what's happening with my AUD CAD trade. And as you guys can see, this little bar at the bottom is telling me how long until my trade is actually up. So this Euro USD trade just cleared. Our balance went up again, and we can see that our AUD CAD trade is no longer in profit. And again, this just goes into customizing your chart. So you're not clicking all over. You're not feeling like you're missing opportunities. You're not getting nervous. Everything's just right there for you to see. So I'm going to add my favorite pairs up there, which Euro USD, and GBP JPY. And also, y'all, it's okay at this point in time to trade OTC. Before, in the past, it was not okay to trade OTC, simply because the markets were not being monitored, right? Price was just going berserk. The prices that you saw on Pocket Option were not the same prices that you saw on your scanner. But Pocket Option, I don't know what they did, what contracts they signed or what they did, but just as a business, they're growing. And now the OTC pairs are available 24/7, and they're most likely always 92%. So you'll always have an opportunity to come on Pocket Option to make money literally 24/7. All right, so I selected the two pairs I'm going to trade, and sorry, y'all, let me just go back to it. I selected the two pairs that I'm going to trade. It's loading right now, as we can see from these little candles. So cool. So now that we know how to select our currency pair, we know how to enter a buy, and we know how to enter a sell. The next thing we're going to look at is our indicators, or are our indicators, right? I should say. So the indicators that I'm going to be using, actually, no, I'm going to put my candles on 5 minutes. So you have to select the time frame that you want your candles to appear. Now, these are a lot of candles on my chart, but I don't really like this because this is S30. That means my candles are forming every 30 seconds, which is a bit too fast for me to actually analyze what's going on. So I'm going to change my candle time frame to 5 minutes, because that just gives the candle enough time to do something, and it gives me a little bit more insight. If you guys are following along, just drop some sevens in the chat. If you have a question about anything I've said so far, just drop a question mark so I can make sure that I respond to it. I'll give you guys about 15 seconds and wait for any question marks, and then I'm going to move forward. All right, perfect. Perfect. All the sevens is coming through. All right, so you guys know I love my moving averages. And you know I love my stochastic, so that's exactly what I'm going to be using here, and I'll just delete it so we can start over. So for indicators, I like to use double EMA, right? And some type of momentum indicator. It doesn't have to be the momentum indicator, but that one just makes the most sense. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna click moving average 2 times, right? Because we need 2 moving averages. And then I'm gonna use also the stochastic oscillator. We're just gonna call it the stock because that's a mouthful. So, all right, cool. So once your indicators are on the chart, this is what they're going to look like. You are going to have to change the settings just to get them to make more sense. So the first moving average, and I do have a video on this as well in case you need me to repeat any of the indicators. So the first indicator, you guys should know, I'm going to change this one to 50. I'm going to change this to EMA, so that is exponential moving average. And then the style, I'm just going to make it blue. And then I'm also going to make it a little bit thicker so I can see it. And you should see that line changing in the background. I'm going to do the same thing for my second EMA. I'm going to go ahead and click the pencil for the settings. I don't know why it's not opening, y'all. Give it a second. It seems like pocket option is going slow, but we're going to give it a second. All right, so for my second EMA, if it lets me, I'm going to go into the settings. I'm going to change the period to 200 because I want this to be the average of the last 200 candles. I'm also going to change this to EMA to make it exponential moving average. I'm going to change the color to purple, and I'm going to change the width to 2 pixels just so that I can see it a little bit better. So all I did was make myself a 50 EMA and a 200 EMA. That's all I did. All right, there we go. So on my stochastic, I just need to change the color. So just so that it make more sense, I like everything to be congruent when I'm trading. I just like everything to be the same. So I'm also going to change my moving average to EMA for my stochastic, right? Pretty much anytime you see moving average, you always want to change the setting to EMA. For the style, only thing I'm going to do is change the top line, which is our 80% line, to red, because that lets me know where I should be selling. And I'm going to change the thickness. The next thing I'm going to do is change my 20% line to blue because that's where I should buy. And I'm going to change the thickness. Now, these are going to stay the same. I'm just going to make them a little thicker. And now this should look like our stochastic from TradingView. It's orange and blue, and we can tell whether it's overbought or oversold, right? So if you guys are familiar with the EMAs and the stochastic indicators, just drop some 7s in the chat. If you need me to go into detail, right, about any of the indicators, just drop that in the chat and I will review them. If not, we're going to move forward. Okay, Keisha. So pretty much the moving averages are going to tell us about the trend. And that's extremely important because when we're trading, we want to trade with the trend. If the market is on an uptrend, which means price is above average, it has a high possibility that it's going to continue to buy. So when the market is above these EMAs, it lets us know that price is above average and we want to focus on more buy opportunities. Vice versa, when the market is below these EMAs, we know that price is down and is going to continue to sell. So let me just zoom out for a little bit so that you can see that. So if I was to put my chart on M30, right? And I'm just going to scroll back in the past. Maybe I'll make it even smaller, M10. H4. All right. So cool. So for example, can you see how right here, where's my pencil? So you can see how right here, the candles fell below both of these EMAs and then price continued to sell. and it's having a hard time getting back up. So if the price is below the EMAs, that lets us know that we should probably focus on sales unless it's a reversal. And if price is above the EMAs, that lets us know we should focus on buys. For example, in this case here, we can see that the candles broke above the EMA, letting us know that the trend was going to change from down to up, which it did. And then it continued to buy for all of these hours. So the EMAs just give us a really good insight as to what the trend is. And the stochastic, it tells you so much about the price. But two very important things that the stochastic is going to tell you about the price is the volume and the momentum of traders in the market. And this indicator, it sounds complicated, but it's very easy to use. Now, since we know that buyers drive the price up and price is going up, the stochastic should mirror that. So if we see that the lines of the stochastic are facing up, in addition to the candles crossing above the EMAs, that lets us know the market is going to buy. And that's exactly what we could see happening here. And just like, for a sell, if the market was, sorry, I don't know why this pencil is doing this. And just like for a sell, I'm just trying to find a better example. I don't know why pocket option is acting funny like this. It's not moving. Sorry, y'all. Let me refresh this. All right, yeah, so the EMAs is going to tell us about the trend, and the stochastic is going to tell us about the momentum and the volume. So for here, we can see the candle crossed below the EMA, and then we can also see at the same time the stochastic was facing down. So once you see both of those things, yeah, pocket option acting weird today, maybe because the market just opened and there's a lot of traders on. So yeah, those are how you use those two indicators, and you just want to use them in conjunction. So before you actually get into your trades, sorry, y'all. Let me turn off. 1 second. I turned off the captions because it was blocking my screen. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. And this video will also be recorded for everyone to be able to watch as well. So right now we have our indicators on our chart. These are the indicators we're going to be using. So when it comes to your entries, you just really want to ask yourself a couple of questions to confirm whether or not you should be entering into that trade. So one thing I used to teach a lot was called trigger words, and I'll put this in the chat as well. And the trigger words will help you create some bias as to whether you're going to be buying or selling in the market. So the trigger words for a buy, right? And it's pretty much like whenever you see these things obviously occurring, you want to take the buy opportunity. So the buy trigger words are going to be blue, up, above, over, higher. Right? And I'm dropping this in the chat because whenever you see these things, that's going to let you know to focus on the buy. And your sell trigger words are going to be red, down, below, under, or lower, right? So again, once you see these words, you know what you should do in the trade. So for example, and of course you can have a little notebook, you can take a tally. So we can say the buyers versus the sellers. So the first question we will ask ourselves, right, when we're trying to figure out if we should buy or sell is what color is the current candle, right? What color is the current candle? And I'll drop this in the chat as well. So we can see that the current candle is red. So that's going to mean that now it's blue. So whichever way it goes, first it was red, then it was blue. Right now it's blue. We're going to say the buyers get a point because it's blue when we're asking these questions. The second question we will ask ourselves is the candle above, right, or below the EMAs? Or you could break it into two questions. Is the candle above the pink EMA? And then you want to ask yourself, is the candle, and this is for a buy, Is the candle above the blue EMA? You want to ask yourself, is the stochastic facing up? Right? Or has it crossed above the red or blue line? So once we ask these questions, and let me put the sell questions as well. Now the sell questions would be the same thing, right? What color is the current candle? I spelled that wrong. Candle. The second question would be, is the candle below the pink EMA? Is the candle below the blue EMA? Is the stochastic facing down or crossing below any lines? And then based on whoever gets the most correct answers, that's pretty much the trade you're going to want to take. But you're also going to want to just use your discretion. But this is a nice base. So let's just try this again. So let's just see, what color is the current candle? It's red. Is the candle below the blue EMA? No, below the pink EMA. It just crossed down. So the sellers get another point. Is it below the blue EMA? Yes, it is. Is the stochastic facing down or crossing below any lines? The stochastic is not facing down, it's kind of going sideways. So you can either give both points or you can give nobody a point. So at this point in time, based on these simple questions that we asked, it looks like the sellers have a better chance for us to clear this trade. So what you want to do when you see that is you want to click this little paintbrush here, and you want to put a horizontal line, right? Because this will take you to your drawings. Click the paintbrush, put a horizontal line, and you want to put that, if you're going for a sell, right? You want to put that horizontal line above the most recent candle. And we're doing that because that's the most recent high. This is the highest place that price went prior to it selling. So who's to say that price is not going to revisit that area? So now at this point, we would just be patient, right? We could either wait until, and we see the market is selling as we just quickly analyze. So what you want to do is wait until price revisits that area. And with HFX, we only use the last 3 digits. So you can wait until price revisits 753 or higher for a sell. And I'll drop this in the chat. You can wait until price gets to that area. Or you can set a pending order. Now we can see, and this is just when you start noticing the little things about trading, you can see that in the past right here. I'm trying to circle it. You can see in the past right here, price got a little bit higher than 753. So what you can do is just adjust your line. So now your new entry is 765. So we can say that once the market gets to 765 or higher, we could potentially take it for a sell. Or if you feel like your time has passed with that candle, you just simply reassess with the next candle, which a candle is forming every 5 minutes, right? So we can do the same thing. What color is the current candle? It's blue. Is the candle above or below the pink EMA? It's below. Sellers get a point. Is it above or below the blue EMA? It's below. Sellers get a point. Is the stochastic facing up or down? Stochastic is facing up, right? So it's an additional question you could ask for this. You can, just if you're in a deadlock like this. Now, when it comes to the stochastic, I really want you guys to look at this, right? And I may have to switch to another pair to demonstrate. Look at these 2 lines, right? You see this blue line and you see this orange line. Whenever you see the stochastic, I literally want you guys to think about this like a horse race. The blue represents the buyers and the orange line represents the sellers. Now, in this case, they are clearly deadlocked, right? They are literally neck and neck. The blue is above the orange, but they're pretty much neck and neck at where they are. Now, I'm going to try to go to another pair just so you can see how, if you think about the stochastic like a horse race, it'll also help you clear a lot more trades. So let's go to GJ and see how that stochastic doing. Okay, it's pretty close. I'm just trying to show you how it looks like a race. Okay, now look at this stochastic on AUD-NZD. We can see that it's clearly facing down, right? And we can see that although it's below the red line, the buyers is facing down, but the buyers have a little bit of leeway over the sellers, meaning that this market is probably going to push back a little bit, simply because if you think about this like a race, you can see that the blue is leading the orange. Right now, you guys will have to just look at this more and just play with it to know, okay, this is making sense what she's saying. So I'm gonna click another pair. That one's too close to call. That one's too close. But I want like an obvious, like, okay, I can see what you're saying. Okay, this is still a little bit of a race. It's neck and neck. The market just opened, but hopefully it's making sense, y'all. Hopefully it's making sense. So again, with Euro USD, we were waiting for that 753 or higher, but we can see this market is already selling. Again, we can reassess this and bring it down to the most recent candle. Yeah. Thank you. It's just like once you see it, you can't unsee it. It helps so much because sometimes the stochastic is telling you so much. So you'll be like, I don't know, it's facing down, but the blue is over the orange and the orange is over the red. It's like you want to look at it in comparison to the price line, which is the middle line. So if it's above the middle line, buy, below the middle line, sell. But look at who's leading, because who's ever leading, that will let you know if it's a pullback or a reversal, if that makes sense. Okay, look what's happening here, y'all. Right? We can see that it's facing up, but we can see that the orange just literally overtook the blue and it's starting to face down. So once this orange line starts to extend a little bit more, we can say with 100% confidence that this market is going to continue to sell, right? So now at this point, we just wait. We ask ourselves the questions because it's a new candle, and you may have to do this a few times. Oh, well. But if you got to ask yourself simple questions to make $2,000 in 1 minute, I'm gonna ask myself this question over and over again. Like, so what do we have? We have a red candle. We have it below both lines. We have the orange over the blue. This is looking like a pretty much a sell to me. So I would like to wait until it revisits 720 or higher, right? That just makes sense to me, to wait until it revisits 720 or higher. But since we have all the confirmations, if I were to get into this trade now, it's a higher probability that it would clear, simply because all the signs are pointing to a sell. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. Because we ask the questions, we could be right or we could be wrong, right? You could be right or you could be wrong. So far in this trade, our analysis lined up, and this trade is in profit. And look at the horse race, y'all. The orange has overtaken, or it's a snake race, I don't know. But if this makes sense, y'all, just drop some sevens in the chat, because it be making sense in my head when I be talking to myself and when I get in here and trade. But I don't know. I was just talking to Spicy about this. You never know how something makes sense until somebody tells you it makes sense. So look at that, a perfect sell, right? I mean, no trade is perfect, but come on now. Every single question that we asked is set us up for a sell, and we took the sell and we cleared. So it makes sense, y'all. If it makes sense, y'all drop sevens in the chat. I love that. So again, let's test it out again. So we don't really have to ask the questions again because we can see all the same stuff happening. Because the sellers have finally overtaken the blue, we should be able to get in for a sell right here. I mean, of course, you can revisit. It's safer when you wait for it to revisit where that candle started. But because this is such a clear sell, I don't have to ask myself those questions again because I already have the answer, because I just answered the questions and everything is still the same. And we also see that since our last analysis, the orange, if you're thinking about it like a race, has literally overtaken the blue, and it's continuing to push down. So we're gonna see what happens. We are having a little bit of a pushback from the buyers right now, but we're not really worried. We're just gonna let the market do what it's gonna do. Again, if you need to, well, we can't roll over at this point, but yeah, we're just gonna see what happens. We have 12 seconds left. I still feel okay about this trade. Not the end of the world. No more rollover, no more double up. It's pretty close. 1 second left. Are you going to clear? Wow. We cleared with 1 second left. And that's why this is my sports, y'all. I don't watch sports. I don't watch football, baseball, basketball. But when I see this orange overtaking this blue, that's my sports. And I'm team whoever is about to make me clear. Like, so yeah, just on this session alone, we went from $46,000 to $49,130, and it hasn't even been an hour, which is a pretty good profit. If we add up all of our profits that we made, and we can just see how much we made on this session. Y'all could go tell the gram we was making money in minutes. They gonna be mad, y'all, because they thought I quit. All right, so it's 920 plus 920 plus 920 plus 920 plus 92 plus 92 plus 184 plus 184. And we made $4,232 in one session. We cleared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We cleared 7 out of 8 trades. And I would say that's a good session. I would say that's a pretty good session. So I'm just going to show y'all one more thing, right? Then we're going to transition to the Forex. But that is how you would trade with the trend, right? Because the most important thing that you can do, and then remember, and this just goes back to your question, Keisha, the reason why I was even more confident to take the sell was because the candles are under both of the EMAs, right? And then we started to answer that question around here. We see that it got close to the EMA, rejected, got close to the EMA, rejected. And for my people who've been with me from day one, we see liquidity, right? You know, once you get that liquidity, it's kind of like bang, bang, boom. And then what else did we see? We saw a break of structure on the downside, which let us know that this trade most likely will continue to go down. And I'll take it just to see if that's just a quick analysis, if it's going to continue to sell based on the break of structure. And we just want to see what happens. But that's how you trade with the trend. Oh, thank you. I'm happy it makes sense. I'm really happy it makes sense. Imagine y'all, if y'all was me and y'all was trying to make this make sense to yourself 3 years ago when nobody was trading HFX. I didn't think I was crazy. I thought everybody else was crazy for not listening to me. But trying to explain it, they was just giving me the side eye. And I'm like, yeah, works for me. So yeah. So that's how you trade with the trend. And then if you're trading reversals with HFX, because we know reversals, we got 8 seconds left. Let's see if we clear this trade based off the break of structure confirmation, because that's my SHIT. We in a 50,000 club. But anyway, yeah, if you're going to be trading a reversal instead of trading with the trend, you pretty much are just going to focus on liquidity. I ain't going to go into too much detail, but whenever you see your wicks starting to form, as we can see, all these wicks are forming right here. Eventually this market is going to turn around, but you want to look for other confirmations. Right now, we know it's going to continue to sell based on the break of structure that just happened right here. However, we do see it starting to resist. And then once we see this cross back up over the 20, that we just talked about this in another class, y'all. Which type of trader are you? You can apply those same principles to HFX as well. Look for the liquidity. Look for the cross up on the stochastic. Look for, that's basically the main two things, and then ask yourself the confirmation questions. So that's all for HFX today. If you guys took any trades, you can drop your record in the chat, because I know you guys like to just trade whenever it's HFX. It's like you just can't help it. I'm gonna say 7 out of 8 for the section. If you guys, I'll go to this screen here with the actual trade results. If you guys want to take a picture or screenshot this for your Instagram, and get some points. Trying to click off of this one particular trade. You guys can do that as well. Keisha, something that we do here is we get points for participation, and then you can use those points to redeem other stuff. So if you post on Instagram, comment on YouTube, that's like 2 points. If you share your trading result, that's 1 point. And then you can use the points to redeem things like additional sessions, additional one-on-ones, money, and things like that. So awesome. Let's see what you guys' record are before we transition to Forex. Okay, 1-1, not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. You guys, if you want to continue to trade Euro USD with HFX, just continue to do that quick analysis. And then look, this is just what I was saying. If you were more of a reversal trader than a trend trader, that would have been your entry to get in based off the liquidity, which is the wicks. Once you see at least 3 rejections, which we have more than 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you see at least 3 rejections, and then you see this cross up, right? And it's facing up, right? We would have asked ourselves, what color is the current candle? It's blue. We would have got 2 no's here, but this liquidity is a strong indicator, and so is this cross up. So yeah, y'all. That's all I have for 3-0. Okay, 1-0. Okay, nice. So pretty much undefeated. That's really nice. We had a undefeated HFX session. I didn't call out too many trades, but as I was working through the examples, if it made sense to you, you could have definitely taken trades. So just because we had an undefeated HFX session, I'll give everybody 10 points for all, right? And if you guys have any additional HFX questions before we really get into Forex, and it's not going to be a full Forex lesson. If anything, we're just going to be looking at our first trade idea for the week. Just drop those questions in the chat now. I'll give you guys about 15 seconds to drop any HFX questions. If not, we will transition to TradingView and we will look at some ideas to start us off for the week. All right, no questions. So I'm going to stop recording this so I can make 2 separate videos.